Nature evolves through experimentation, failure, and rewards. My guest believes that artificial intelligence should be designed to mimic nature with all of its uncertainties. I'm Tanya Hall for ZDNet and Tech Republic, and joining me is Danny Lange. He is the Vice President of Artificial Intelligence and Machine Learning at Unity Technologies. Welcome, Danny.
Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to talking to you.
So what does Unity Technologies do?
So we are a company that has developed what we call a real-time 3D engine. Some people think of us mostly as a game engine. We deliver, I would say, probably half of the world's games. We're a platform. If you want to build a game, you use Unity.
You've been building artificial intelligence systems for quite a while. You led the design of GM's OnStar back in the 20th century. You were head of machine learning for Uber and Amazon, and you also worked at Microsoft in data. So how have you seen machine learning evolve over the past decade?
Oh, it has, it has basically developed, it has gone leaps and bounds. I would never have thought that we would be where we are today. It's going really fast now. And one of the reasons I came to Unity is essentially that a lot of enterprise applications are sort of bound by certain limitations. You sell books or you send taxis around, but when it comes to the gaming world, you create your own environments and you can let AI loose and you can really explore the boundaries of AI here.
So what are the key elements that comprise artificial intelligence?
So the key elements are kind of very basic to us. A lot of people ask me, what is artificial intelligence? How do you define it? I basically take root in the most fundamental intelligence we know, our own intelligence and the intelligence of the animals around us. So that is really the only intelligence we really know. And I take that as a starting point for developing artificial intelligence. And if you think about living in nature, which is something about, getting food, not getting eaten when you try to get food, watch out for physics, don't get hit by something. It's about survival. And think about games. Aren't they very, very similar? So games create this situation where we can actually start applying AI to make games look more like the world we know.
You are quoted as saying, in machine learning, you need to think more like Werner Heisenberg than Isaac Newton. Explain
Yeah.
the role uncertainty plays in machine learning and AI.
Yeah. So if you think about the way we traditionally develop software, it's very finite, it's very deterministic. It's these if statements and loops, and we have software engineers that basically just understand, I get this input, I get this input, I produce this output. It's very, very fixed and understood. But when we move to the world of machine learning, where we are data-driven, when we move to artificial intelligence, it turns, the determinism goes away and it becomes all about probabilities. Just like how nature works. When you create a recommendation algorithm for Amazon, it may recommend products, but you may not buy those products, but they may get recommended, but some people buy, some will not, and you actually don't know necessarily, who those people are, So it becomes more about probabilities, about trying to predict what's going to happen. And that is pretty much, what Heisenberg and how quantum mechanics turned out to work. It was not a computable world as Isaac Newton he thought.
You helped create voice-enabled virtual assistants similar to Siri and Alexa, but your end product achieved a much richer result than Siri or Alexa. So what role did data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence play in that effort?
Yeah, it's about understanding that these products, the intelligence in these products comes from the feedback loop. It's not a software engineer that sits and design it or a UX engineer that designed it. It comes from the interaction between the user and the system. And if you create a feedback loop, it can learn from that interaction. It can learn to give you the answers that you need rather than the answer that someone figured out for you. Yeah. So it's the feedback loop. I sometimes call it the AI loop, but it's this loop that basically make a prediction, show it to you, and then measure your response to it. And when you really get that loop going, your service just becomes better and better the more it's being used.
How does virtual reality facilitate exploring artificial intelligence?
Virtual reality is a fantastic tool. Think about virtual reality as your artificial biodome. Yeah, think about it as you're recreating a subset of nature in a very closed environment. That's what virtual reality is about. And within that world, you can experiment, you can test new ideas, and you can create experiences that are not limited to what you would be in real life. Yeah. So it's really a playground for what the world could be like.
You mentioned quantum computing a minute ago, and very soon artificial intelligence and quantum computing will be applied to problems beyond what we've solved to this point. So how do you know that these super fast machines can actually tap into the vast amounts of data far beyond human capability? I mean, are giving us the right answers? How do we know that they're actually doing the right job? How do we check our work?
Oh yeah, that's tough. First, I would say that quantum computing, cloud computing, very, very scalable computing, that's really how nature works. Yeah, nature around us is a result of millions and millions of years of computing. Yeah, kind of think about it. Nature tries stuff. Evolution is all these attempts, trial and error, over and over and over, and something comes out of it, and things sort of evolve. Yeah. That's what we try to achieve by massive scalable computing. Some people are sort of saying, oh, machine learning is a little stupid. It doesn't really work because it needs too much data. Well, no, that's just how nature works. Massive data driven. That's how the universe works. Yeah. So by taking these computers and use them on large amount of data, but also let them produce even larger amounts of data and create these feedback loops, we can really achieve fantastic results in artificial intelligence. And then to answer your question about how do we figure out if it's doing the right thing, well, that's really a matter of testing. It's a matter of understanding the results of a very complex system. So sometimes I say that to really understand artificial intelligence, you need to maybe use the methods of psychology. Yeah, you need to use methods of diving in and trying to figure out, get the system to explain how it found out, some solution to a problem. But it's not like, again, it's not in the old deterministic way. I can't look into the code and say, that's why. I have to probe and I have to understand.
What about ethics? I mean, are we building an ethics framework into our machine learning algorithms?
Oh, I think I think we have to. At Unity, we are very active in that space. Fortunately, a lot of large corporations are getting much more aware of the importance of ethics. We need to make sure that these systems serve us well and don't do things we don't want them to do. We are the owners, we are the masters of these systems, and these systems will get increasingly powerful, and therefore it's important for everybody to be a part of maintaining a high level of ethics around machine learning and AI. At Unity, one of our approaches is simply to democratize the technology. So we have over 1 million developers. We want to give them access to machine learning and AI, because that way they will understand it better and they will be more, I would say they will be more safe consumers in the future. They will look around and recognize unethical use and identify it and stop it.
What is an adversarial network? I mean, and why is it an important construct in AI?
It's a very natural construct in a sense. Think of it as another machine learning system. Yeah, you have one machine learning system you could say that system is trying to detect fake news. Yeah, and you basically have the system, crawl news and classify it as fake and not fake. Yeah. Then on the other hand, you could have a machine learning system generating fake news. Yeah. Both machine learning systems have their reward systems. Yeah, one gets rewarded whenever it makes the right classification of fake news. The other one gets rewarded every time it succeeds in cheating the other system. Yeah, so in that sense, it's very natural to have machine learning systems compete against each other. It could be an arms race of machine learning systems or AIs competing against each other. But look around, isn't this just exactly how the world actually works? That some people are trying to get away with things, and other people are really trying to prevent that from happening. Yeah. So what do we have? We have ethics, we have morality, we have laws, we have policing. We have a lot of mechanisms in place between humans to prevent that. And we're going to need that for AI and machine learning systems as well.
How are machine learning and artificial intelligence being used to enrich the gaming experience?
So think about games as the more organic, the more dynamic they are, the more natural they are to the player. Yeah? So traditionally, games are fairly hardwired. A lot of them have a lot of complex rules in them, and the rules, they get adjusted based on observations and feedback from players. But by adding more AI capability to the games, you can basically have the characters in the games act more independent, more organically, adapt to the behavior of the player, learn from the player. And think about some of the reward systems. We're always driven in AI by reward systems. Yeah, that's the only way the computer can figure out, how to do a job better. What if the reward is maximize enjoyment for my human player? Yeah, it means don't kill them off in the game immediately. Also, don't bore them to death, but keep it exciting. Yeah, that's what the AI would learn. It would learn to make games exciting.
Okay, Danny, here's the big question. What is your greatest fear concerning AI, and what is your greatest hope for it?
Yeah, my greatest hope is, I want to take that one first, because I think that is extremely powerful. I think it will arm our scientists with fantastic tools. It will help us do much better science, and maybe it can help some of the big troubles in the world, more food for everybody, less climate change, some really fundamental problems, yeah? Better logistics. I heard that fruit transported out of Africa, 80% of the fruit gets wasted by, for various reasons. Stuff like that is really bad, yeah? I think it can help solving logistics problems, things like that, yeah? On the bad side, well, when you start to having AI systems taking over, I said producing fake news, that's probably not a good idea, but basically taking over and optimize society in a way that humans don't benefit from. So we need to keep coming back and say it needs to serve us, it needs to serve us well, and we need to keep an eye out for those instances that do not serve us well.
Danny, thank you so much for joining me. That's Danny Lange, Vice President of AI and Machine Learning at Unity Technologies. Danny, you have been pioneering this space, and it's exciting to see your work. I appreciate you joining me on the show. If somebody wants to connect with you, maybe they want to find out more about the work that you're doing at Unity, how can they do that?
Number one place to get in touch with me is LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn. You can't miss me. And then the unity3d.com website. Visit Unity. Lots of exciting stuff to look at.
Well, thanks again, Danny. I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
And if you guys want to connect with me, maybe you want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here on ZDNet or Tech Republic, or maybe connect with me on social media. Go to my website. It's tanyahall.net. I've got links to all my social sites. And if you'd like to chat, follow me on Twitter. I'm at @Tanya Hall Radio. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks for watching.